Welcome to Jetmir, Nexus of Revels. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got Jetmir, we've got Crucible, a Braid, Soul Ring, and Big Score. Yeah, I think we keep on this one. I mean, I guess we could ship it back. It is kind of a weird... Like, we've got a Tri-Land and a red source, and then really not much action other than Big Score, but we do have Soul Ring to get us to Big Score. Yeah, we'll keep on this one. We could ship it back if we wanted to, but I like it. But hopefully we can make this work. But yes, welcome to some Jetmir, some Landslide. Hopefully we can find Sylvan Awakening and get a lot of lands on the battlefield and have some fun. And we've got some partner action today, which I'm very excited to see what's going on. But there we go. Our opponent is going to get the game started. But yes, let's see what they play. This is going to be snow-covered island. See if there's anything else for the turn. If not, we'll get... I guess technically we could get down Crucible for next turn, and that'll be Soul Ring. And if we run into another land that's untapped outside of Jetmir's Garden, that'll put us on Big Score. So I think we can... Yeah, we can end up going for that. So our opponent's going to go for Ponder. And look at the beautiful art on Ponder. There is two people in the background of Ponder. In the original Ponder, there's one person that you don't really see, but you can see those people in the background of Ponder. But I'm glad that they still keep people in the background of Ponder in the new art. So let's see what we draw into for the turn. And we run into Flooded Strand, which I will certainly take that. So let's go and get Flooded Strand down. Let's go and crack Flooded Strand. Grab ourselves a Savannah. Let's have that Savannah enter the battlefield. And let's tap down for Soul Ring, and there's nothing else that we can go for. And so we're going to go ahead and pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Jetmir, Nexus of Revels. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and have Vigilance as long as you have 3 creatures. +1/+0 Trample with 6 creatures. +1/+0 Double Strike as long as you control 9 or more creatures. So there we go. The game plan is to get a high volume of creatures on the battlefield. That is what we are trying to do. We have partner action. We're playing against Malcom. Flying, whenever one or more pirates you control deal combat damage to a player. Excuse me, yeah, whenever one or more pirates you control deal damage to your opponents, you create a treasure token for each opponent dealt damage, which is different from combat damage. So just if you have some pinging action, that's something to kind of keep in mind. Playing against Breeches, Brazen Plunderer. Menace, whenever one or more pirates you control deal damage to your opponents, exile the top card of each of those opponents' libraries. You may play those cards this turn. You may spend manas over any mana color to cast those spells. And so we've got some Blue-Red Pirates, which I'm excited to see what's going on. All right, so we run into Sun Petal Grove. Let's get Crucible down, because that's going to allow us to go for Big Score. And then we don't really need to do that right now, so we'll just simply just pass the turn, because technically we get to leave up a Braid and Big Score, and then we can go for Big Score at the end of our opponent's turn. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you do use that link, much obliged. I certainly appreciate it. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. If you want to play Commander online, they've got you covered. And that is 3 damage to target creature, which we can do that. I kind of want to go for Big Score, I think. Because that'll give us a treasure, 2 treasure tokens, and then we can Braid on Malcom in the middle to go back to the command zone. I think that sounds good. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so let's go Big Score. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be 1, 2. So we're going to have to discard a card. Let's go ahead and get rid of... I kind of like March of the Multitudes. We're not there yet. No, we will be with Jetmir's Garden. But yeah, I kind of like doing this. So we're going to get rid of Chroma's Will. I think that's a good option. All right, so we run into Elvish Mystic and Austere Command, which I do like seeing that. And we'll probably still end up setting a Braid for next turn. Ooh, Esper Sentinel. Okay, so let's go. Let's set this up. So let's go Esper Sentinel first. It's going to be tapping down for white. We'll get down Esper Sentinel. Let's go for a Braid on Malcom. And 3 damage target creature, Malcom. And I haven't seen that show in so long. Malcom in the Middle was one of my favorite shows growing up. I loved watching that show. All right, so we're going to pop Malcom. We have 1 colorless left. Let's go for Sun Petal Grove. Because we can, yes, we can still get down Elvish Mystic. And now we're kind of getting, we don't have a ton of creatures out there. We don't want to cycle that. No, we're okay. And then click OK. There we go. Then anything else, pass the turn over to our opponent. But yes, TCG Player, MTGOTraders, started a Patreon. But if you're keeping score at home, it is officially free time, so let's have some fun. So they are sitting at 4 total mana. So we do have the commander tax up on Malcom, and we'll see if they end up getting Breeches down. We don't have any spot removal other than, oh yeah, let's get the Esper Sentinel card draw going. We don't have any spot removal other than Austere Command. And so with Austere Command, we're looking at a lot of 1-drops right now. And so if they do kind of deploy out some of their creatures, we can at least Austere Command for 4 or greater. That won't hit Malcom, but it'll at least hit Breeches. And then we can kind of go from there. So, all right, so we run into Birds of Paradise, and, you know, it's kind of fitting on theme of what we've got going on. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 total mana, up to 8 with Jetmir. We don't really have any ways to make tokens right now. I mean, we've got March of the Multitudes, and we can definitely set that up with Parallel Lives. So I think I kind of like that. So let's go for Birds of Paradise. Let's get Birds of Paradise down, and then we end up going for Parallel Lives. And then we can try to set up a Jetmir at a later turn. Yeah, I think I kind of like doing that. So that's going to be 1, 2. We get down Parallel Lives. Let's get down Jetmir's Garden as the land for the turn. And that still gives us 3 mana, which you don't really need to do anything with that right now. So let's go and push in with the crew. We got 2 coming across. So we're going to knock them down to 38. So we've got the 20-turn clock going. And then anything else, pass it over to our opponent. But yes, it is officially free time. Let's have some fun. And that fun today is Jetmir. So if you haven't seen Jetmir before, I've recorded either 1 or 2 videos, so if you want to check that out, there's a playlist that this is attached to that you can check some of those videos out. But the name of the game, as you guessed when we covered our commander, is to just get a high volume of creatures onto the battlefield. We have different ways to do that. We are running a lot of mana dorks in here, and so that kind of helps us get to that 3, that 6, the 9 kind of creature count that we're going for. And outside of that, we've got some token producing. You know, if you have a lot of mana dorks, running stuff like March of the Multitudes in here, that does give you access to a lot of creatures. And especially, we'll see. We'll wait for our opponent to go like kind of shields down, Horseshoe Crab. All right, we'll see what they got with Horseshoe Crab, whether it's a tap and untap effect. But if with March of the Multitudes, if we can set up a March of the Multitudes next turn and then follow it up with Jetmir, I think we'll be in a pretty good spot. And so let's go ahead and shock in Stomping Ground, because we wouldn't have access to as much mana as possible. And unfortunately, in the world of Horseshoe Crabs, mana dorks cannot do much. So we're simply just going to go on and pass the turn over to our opponent and try to set up the March of the Multitudes. I think I kind of like that. So let's get it over to their turn. So with March of the Multitudes, we're looking at baseline 3. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're looking at 9 tokens onto the battlefield. And with Parallel Lives, that'll be 18 tokens. And especially if they go shields down and we go for Jetmir next turn, I think that sets us up to be in a pretty good spot. So they do have 1 spell left. And since we do have Parallel Lives, we're going to leave up at least 3 mana. Yeah, I like that. So we're going to leave up at least 3 mana with March of the Multitudes. So let's go white. Let's tap down green. Let's tap down white. That'll be Birds of Paradise. That'll be Stomping Ground. Yeah, so we're looking, I guess technically we're looking at Spell Pierce mana with 1 white mana. It's going to be 1, 2 off the treasure tokens. That'll be 14 I think that's enough to get it done. So we're going to do X equals 7. So it's going to be 14 soldier tokens on the battlefield. And this will be 2 mana for Spell Pierce, if they have Spell Pierce in there. All right, so we get the tokens onto the battlefield. Let's go for Jetmir next turn. I like it. Let's get Jetmir onto the battlefield. That's going to be some good magic right here. So let's go tap down for white, tap down for green, and we'll still just go ahead and tap down on get that down. Oh, look at this. And we got lifelink. Oh yeah, look at this. All right, so let's go to our attack step. Let's swing in with all of the creatures. Everybody's going to get in on this one. And we've got Double Strike and Vigilance, so we don't even have to worry about our mana dorks on this one. And we'll see what else they have to showcase for it. We are looking at one blue or red mana from our opponent. And so even if it's like Lightning Bolt or something like that, we're still going to have Jetmir on the battlefield to give us that static effect. And so that should be game on this one. So we'll see what else they've got out there. But we've got, yeah, I think our opponent's going to click it over. There we go. So we're going to get the first strike damage done. Negative 29. Look at that. That is exactly what we're trying to do with Jetmir. You can run a high volume of creatures in there, but also you can just simply just run Parallel Lives and hope that you rip into something like March of the Multitudes and just dump a bunch of creatures out there. You can see how potent it is Simply just, you know, even if you don't have Jetmir out the whole game and you're building up through those different steps, simply just getting it down as a finisher, as like a Crater Hoof style finisher, it can certainly get it done. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Jetmir, Nexus of Revels. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we'll keep on this one. I like this. We've got a token generator in Amera Angel. We've got a little zombie action with Honor of the God Pharaoh, and we get a zombie token, and we've got land, so we will definitely keep on this. Let's go and lead off with, I guess at this point, we'll just go and lead off with Arid Mesa. I think that sounds like a good plan, and then we'll go and crack Arid Mesa and grab ourselves a tri-land. That way we can get a green source for Skyshroud Claim, which sounds like a pretty good plan. So let's grab ourselves a Jetmir Garden, have that come into play tapped, and that way we can cover our commanders. But yes, welcome to Jetmir. We got some Naya landfall coming down today, or landslide, whatever you want to call it. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and have vigilance as long as you have 3 creatures. +1/+0 trample as long as you have 6 creatures. And then +1/+0 double strike as long as you have 9 creatures. So there we go. If you're wondering what we're trying to do, we're trying to get creatures on the battlefield. We run into Tree Speaker, which is a very good option. So let's go ahead and go green. Let's get down Tree Speaker. And we're going to hold on to Prismatic Vista for Amera Angel, if we can make that a thing. Let's drop in Clifftop Retreat. And then anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. But yeah, so basically with Jetmir, we're trying to get a volume of creatures on there. We can get Vigilance, then we get Trample, then we get Double Strike, which is pretty much what you want with a big army of creatures on the battlefield. We just got to dodge our opponent's board wipes. We are playing against Grixis, so that's something that we got to keep in mind. So let's drop in Plateau, and we can still end up leveling up for 2, and that'll still be 3, but that'll put us on Honor of the God Pharaoh, which I kind of do like that. So let's go for the level up option, and that's going to be 1/2. So we got leveled up for 3. Let's go Honor the God Pharaoh. That's going to be 1/2, tapping down for red. And we need to discard a card, and I guess what we'll get rid of right now. So we've got Prismatic Vista that does set us up for Amera Angel. I guess we'll just get rid of March of the Multitudes. That would be nice to have late in the game, but I'd like to rip into some stuff. Ooh, and we run into Lightning Bolt and Return to Nature. So anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. Playing against Nicol Bolas, the Ravager. Flying, whenever Nicol Bolas enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. Then for a 7-mana Grixis activation, exile Nicol Bolas, turns into Nicol Bolas the Arisen. That was an Aftershock on Tree Speaker. A little bit of a bummer, but that happens sometimes. All right, so we do run into another fetch land. So let's go for Wooded Foothills. Let's go ahead and crack Wooded Foothills. And we're going to go Skyshroud Claim on this one. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a Savannah. That way it comes into play untapped. Let's go for Skyshroud Claim. That way we can get a couple extra forest onto the battlefield. And we want to make sure that, let's grab, I guess what we'll end up grabbing, we don't have the basics right now. So we'll grab a Temple Garden. Let's get this popped down just a little bit so we can see what's going on. Yeah, we got enough red white. So let's go Temple Garden, and let's grab a Taiga Uppercut. And we're going to pay 2 on this one. And let's go to Return to Nature on Rakdos Signet, because let's say that they're banking on getting Nicol Bolas down, and then we can stop that. I would enjoy that greatly. So let's go and swing in for 1. Knock our opponent down to 35, and then anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. So we do have Amera Angel next turn. We'll be able to get down Amera Angel, drop in Prismatic Vista. That'll be another bird, and then we can get down one more bird. All right, so our opponent did have a 4th land for Nicol Bolas, so it's a little bit unfortunate. But what we might be able to do is set up Lightning Bolt with our zombie. And I think that sounds pretty good. And I guess we do end up whiffing on the Amera Angel line of play if we drop Prismatic Vista. I feel like our opponent will probably play around Lightning Bolt on Nicol Bolas, but if it doesn't happen, if they don't, then I definitely like them sitting at 4 trying to get that down. So we're going to get rid of Prismatic Vista. We'll click OK on that, and then hopefully we run into a land for next turn to kind of showcase something. All right, ooh, and excuse me, we run into Path to Exile, so that does work out. Let's see if we can get the zombie token swinging in and kind of cash in a Lightning Bolt. We'll see if they end up blocking on this or not. I know they're probably thinking like, well, what did they do? They have Lightning Bolt. All right, they're going to block. Let's click OK. So it's going to be 1 damage. Just go Lightning Bolt onto Nicol Bolas. I'll take that. And that'll send Nicol Bolas back to the command zone. And then we can get down Amera Angel and then just hope that we start running into some land. So let's drop in Amera Angel. And the other good thing is we got Path to Exile now to kind of stop whatever they've got out there. So anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. So Nicol Bolas does cost 6 now to get down, but hopefully with us kind of stopping that artifact, we'll kind of hopefully be able to kind of target player sacrifices a creature. All right, so we'll sacrifice a Mara Angel, and then we'll see what we can rip into for next turn. Looking for some card advantage. That would definitely be nice. Tireless Provisioner. Okay, that is something. So we'll go and get that down. And we'll try to end up going for Jetmir for next turn. But yeah, with Nicol Bolas, the back end of Nicol Bolas, +2, draw 2 cards, -3, 10 damage to target creature or planeswalker, -4, put a creature card from a graveyard or planeswalker under the battlefield under your control, then -12, exile all but the bottom card of target player's library. So let's see what we draw into for the turn. Fabled Passage. So let's go ahead and drop in Fabled Passage. It's going to be a... because food is just life gain, if I'm correct. Yeah, you gain 3 life. So we're going to get a treasure token off of Tireless Provisioner. Let's get Jetmir onto the battlefield. Let's tap down for Naya colors. And we'll tap... actually, we'll tap down green off of... let's set this up just a little bit better. Tap down for green, tap down for red, and then we'll tap down Plateau. There we go. All right, so we get down Jetmir. And we still have a crack in response to any sort of removal on Tireless Provisioner to get that treasure token down. So let's go and swing in for 3. Knock our opponent down to 32, and then anything else, we will pass the turn over there. So unfortunately, we don't have the high volume of creatures out there, but in a 1v1 setting, we've got 8 power out there right now, and that's a pretty good... that's a pretty good thing. We can chip away at our opponent's life total, so we'll see what can happen. So let's go to our draw step, and then that is going to be Mountain. So let's go ahead and make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be a treasure token, and what we may end up doing after this is if they're getting close to Nicol Bolas, we'll probably end up holding on to our lands. That way if we need to discard, because we've got a lot of lands out there. All right, so we're going to go and swing in for 8, and it's going to drop them down, and then anything else pass the turn over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you do use that link, much obliged. I certainly appreciate it. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. I'm going to play Magic Online. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you're keeping score at home, it is officially Path to Exile time. And free time, too. That's also there. All right, so we're going to go Path to Exile. We do have to discard a card, but there's no cards in the hand. So that does give them... oh, and actually, do they not have a basic in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I'll take it. So now they get to get to the magic number of 8 for Nicol Bolas with no basic off that Path to Exile. So that felt pretty good. All right, so we run into a forest. Let's go and push in for 8. And since we have more than enough mana right now, we're just going to hold on to this forest card. That way, if we do get into a spot to where they're going to be going for the Nicol Bolas discard line of play, so anything else, pass it over to our opponent. But yeah, so with Jetmir, we do have some outs, even though we don't have a huge creature base out there right now. One of the things that we are looking for is a lot of the ways that we can animate our lands. We have Sylvan Awakening, I think. That is the 3 mana, yeah, Sylvan Awakening. With Sylvan Awakening, what that does is that allows us to turn over our lands into 2/2 creatures. And most of the time, and especially with the treasure tokens out there, you can see where, actually, opponent's going to go for a Liliana, put a search your library for card, put it on top. But you can see with Jetmir, especially if we use these treasure tokens, in fact, we're probably just going to go ahead and do that. So let's go and crack Fabled Passage. Let's go ahead and grab, I guess at this point, we'll just grab a forest. I guess that'll work out. That'll give us another treasure token. And then we'll create a treasure token, because we're not super worried about life gain right now. But yeah, if we rip into Sylvan Awakening, you can see that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That'll be 8 total creatures out there, and that'll hit us. All right, so we do run into Soul Ring. And so let's we go Soul Ring onto the battlefield off of Forest, and then let's go ahead and push in. We're going to send Tireless Provisioner at Liliana, and then Jetmir at our opponent. So that way, yeah, because we don't want to give them any more tutor searches. All right, so let's go drop them down to 9, because if they do end up just ripping a board wipe or something like that, so be it. And I guess at this point, we just might as well just drop the Forest down, just in case we need that mana for something. So let's drop in a treasure token, and then anything else, pass it over to our opponent. We could have swung in 3 and 5 at our opponent and knocked them down a little bit lower, but definitely kind of wanted to take care of Liliana to get rid of that tutor ability. So, and we'll see what they ended up grabbing. If they're tapping down for a ton of mana, Archon of Cruelty. So So that might have been the search that they went for. Enters the battlefield or attacks, target opponent sacrifices a creature, discards a card, loses 3 life, you draw a card and gain 3 life. Alright, so we do have to sacrifice a creature. Let's go and get rid of Tireless Provisioner right now because, like I mentioned, if we have run into one of our land reanimation spells or our animate land spells, that might be able to get us out of this without having to tap down a land. So let's see what we draw into for the turn. And we draw into Birds of Paradise. So let's go ahead and get down Birds of Paradise. That's going to be 1 green mana. And unfortunately, we can't push past on Archon of Cruelty. So anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. But yeah, we've got some outs in here. We've got Sylvan Awakening. We do have Rude Awakening in here. And with us having, a pretty good chunk of mana, we do have some of we did see it earlier in the game, March of Multitudes. We do have a lot of instant spells that allow us to get a lot of tokens onto the battlefield. So that might be another way in which we can kind of get the Jetmir ability kickstarted. So let's see. They've got the -2. They're going to send Jetmir back to the hand. Archon's going to swing in for 3. And that will be us sacrificing Birds of Paradise. No more Birds of Paradise. We have to discard a card. Jetmir is going to go back to the command zone whenever it deals combat damage. Yeah, that's something right there. All right, so we drop down to 24. So now with Jetmir in the command zone and them having that sacrifice ability, we've got to time it to where we hit something pretty heavy, like off the top of our library, and get down Jetmir to take advantage of it. So we'll see what we can do. Okay, so see what we draw into Windswept Heath. So we'll go and get that onto the battlefield. At this point, we just don't want to get the Jetmir commander attacks going, so we're just simply going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But yeah, it looks like we're playing against Grixis Super Friends. We've seen Liliana, we've seen Jace, we've seen Jace the Mind Sculptor. If you've never built a Super Friends deck, I highly recommend playing a Nicol Bolas Super Friends deck. It's a lot of fun. You can set up some Spellslinger stuff in there and not really have a high volume of creatures, and then just have a lot of Planeswalkers in there, and it's a lot of fun. If you've never built a Super Friends deck, I highly recommend it. In fact, I've built and played Nicol Bolas Super Friends on the channel. So if that's something you want to search up on YouTube, just go to YouTube and type in Jolt Nicol Bolas, and you'll be able to find some of those deck links. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So we'll see what else they've got. They've got a lot of card advantage right now. And so I do imagine, even if we can sequence a turn to where we get down Jetmir, because at the very least, we've still got Jetmir off of treasure tokens and Soul Ring to get that down. And now that we've got Xanathar out there, Rutrow. Alright, so rip into another land. Let's make the land drop for the turn. And then anything else, we will pass the turn. So with Xanathar, choose an opponent. And then you may look at, so we actually don't know what's on top of our library. So I was about to say, we could try to Windswept Heath, or we could try to Flooded Strand something away from the top of our opponent's library. But since we don't know what's on top of our library, we're not going to be able to kind of have that sort of top of library control, unfortunately. So, and then also they've got Jace, so if they technically wanted to, go for the +2 and take advantage of Xanathar, they certainly could. All right, so it's going to be, they get Revelation, which actually that's not too bad, because with Revelation, yeah, we've got no creatures out there. It's not really going to do much. So we're going to let them swing in. That's going to be 11. That's going to drop us down pretty low. No cards to discard, drops us down to 12. And actually, excuse me, I was going to go for the cracks off of Windswept Heath and Flooded Strand, but we don't want to do that, because if we do end up doing that, that'll put us down to 0. Which is not that good. So they did grab our Rootbound Crag off the top of our library, and it's going to be City of Brass. So let's see what this is going to be. They're going to go to 20. I don't think we're long for this world, because even if we do rip Sylvan Awakening, I'm not entirely sure what we can get out of this. And that's going to be Nicol Bolas. And let's see. So with Nicol Bolas, I think they can just... And actually, yeah, they can just do 7 damage just. There we go. Opponent's going to get it on this one. So Nicol Bolas got it done. So we got off to a quick start. We tried to deny Nicol Bolas from being on the battlefield, but we spent so many resources making sure the Nicol Bolas commander doesn't get out there that it cleared the way for some of these other Planeswalkers. So good game to our opponent on that one. We had it looked like we were about to get him down pretty low, but they were able to stabilize and get some pretty high impact threats out there. So, but anyways, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.